Here's how to make a powerful inner shift that will put you on the fast track to ascension. Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and I help people to navigate their spiritual awakening and embark on a powerful path of ascension. In this video, I'm going to show you how to tap into a truly powerful reserve of inner strength and vision that will put you on an accelerated path to ascension. By the end of this video, you will have a profound revelation about your place in the cosmos and how you can shave eons of excess time off of your evolutionary journey in this universe. Now make sure to watch this video all the way to the end so that you get the full understanding of what you need to know to make it back home to the real world of omnipresent love. And if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you are notified every time I post a new video to guide you on your spiritual journey. I want to begin by inviting you to connect with your heart. Take a few deep, relaxing breaths because we're going to go on a little journey together. Just let your consciousness and energy settle into your heart space. Breathe the energy out of your head and into your heart. Your heart is a doorway into the wider universe. Your heart has an intelligence all its own. And your heart is fully conscious. It is 100% awake at all times. And this is why I always say that your heart is your highest authority when it comes to your spiritual awakening and ascension. You see, your heart knows the full story of what is really going on. Its intelligence goes far beyond the intelligence of your thinking, conscious mind. Your heart is the gateway to the cosmos and to all known forms of reality in this universe. So as I explain things to you, see if you can stay centered in your heart. Now, I'm going to make a future video that is more detailed about what ascension actually is because there are so many misconceptions about it. But for purposes of this understanding today, I want to keep it very simple. So let's start with where we are and where we want to go. Where we are now is on a very tiny planet in a galaxy in a very finite universe. Our plan on a conscious level is to go from 3D to 4D to 5D and beyond. Well, that's all well and good, but here's the issue. We tend to put that plan in the context of our Earth-based experience. We tend to think about ascension as only being about Earth. So the first thing we need to do is to wake up to the fact that we are not the only living things in this universe or even in this galaxy. Now, I know there are those who will argue, well, we haven't discovered any evidence of life anywhere else. So, how do you know it exists? Okay, let's just use some plain old common sense for a moment. Nature flourishes in the form of ecosystems or in interconnected forms of life. Now, do you really think that stops at our little planet? Do you think that this lush paradise called Earth arose from a total void of darkness in space? Guys, that's not even reasonable. This universe is a living, breathing cosmos, just teeming with life. The entire universe is held together by a web of interconnected conscious energy. And consciousness means life. Consciousness begets life. So it is archaic and silly to believe that this teeny tiny speck of dust called Earth is the only form of life ever created. And that crazy belief will not help in our ascension process. In fact, it's only going to make things a lot more difficult. Here's why. Everything that we think occurs in a context of our beliefs. So if our context of belief is so tiny that we cannot include anything beyond our own planet, then we're going to be in for quite a shock. We are not going to be able to adequately align with the totality of Ascension energy. The shock will come when you realize that there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on in the universe and even in our own galaxy that we haven't accounted for. So if you think that Earth is a complex situation, this is like childhood daycare compared to the wider cosmos. And one day we will all be awakened to that fact. And then how will you cope with that shock? The shock of knowing that this universe, this galaxy, is way more complex than you may have ever imagined. So this is why we need to come into our full power now. This is why we need to awaken to the higher truth that lives in our hearts. This is the truth that bypasses all of the craziness found in duality and in a finite situation. You see, we are already connected to the galaxy and to a deeper interdimensional reality. We just don't know it because we've been told it doesn't exist. So let me ask you this question. Who told you it doesn't exist? It's all the humans who have been in charge of every society for ages. These are the same humans who war, kill, and torture. These are the same humans who can't figure out how to eliminate mass poverty and starvation on our planet. And these are the same humans who destroy nature and harm animals without giving it a single thought. Now, as you know, I channel some beings who go by the name of Telstar. One of those beings is Michael or Archangel Michael, whichever title you prefer. And he once told me, he said, if you really knew everything that goes on this planet, you would literally faint. And you know what he was talking about? He was talking about all of the things that human beings do to one another. So ask yourself, are these the people that you want to hold up as the authorities in your life about the entire universe? You see, your heart and your divine intelligence has something much more valid to say. And if you take the time to listen to your inner self, you will note that you get answers exceedingly fast. Here's an example. You can make all kinds of excuses for death, pain, and suffering, right? But what does your heart say? Your heart doesn't have any excuses. Your heart is smart enough to know that these things are just plain wrong. Now, pay attention to this. The problems that Earth is facing do not only exist here. There are a multitude of issues going on throughout this universe. Yes, there are more advanced life forms and more advanced intelligences, but a lot of them still believe that this negative stuff has to exist. A lot of them still adhere to the dogma that such things are necessary for spiritual awakening and advanced evolution. So if you want to continue to embrace this negative stuff as spiritually necessary, then you will have a lot of company for a very long time. Now here's where we get to shifting to a fast track of ascension. You can go the slow route and label lower dimensions like this one as important experiences for some spiritual cause. You can weave your way through a virtual eternity of new and different ways to experience these difficult, strange, and often punishing lifetimes. I mean, you can do this all over the cosmos if you want, or you can focus your mind like a laser on precisely what your heart is telling you is the ultimate truth and the ultimate goal. So let's talk about how to do that. I want you to imagine a paradise, whatever that means for you. Now look at your heart again as a doorway of wisdom. What does your heart tell you that will look like? Now there is one requirement when you do this. You cannot have any limiting conditions on this whatsoever. I'll give you an example of what I mean. If your idea of paradise is a planet where everyone makes plenty of money, there is plenty of food and shelter for everyone, there is no pollution, no war, and people are always kind to each other and help each other out, that's not it. You've left out way too much. Your view of paradise should be so extreme that it's not even remotely possible on this planet in the way that it exists right now. In fact, it should be so far-fetched that your mind instantly rejects it. And that's how you know that you're onto something. You see, your mind only knows what you have experienced so far on this earth. So when your heart serves up something that is way beyond anything that exists right now, your mind will reject it as bogus and fake. So you have to go way beyond that. See, if you come up with a vision of paradise that your mind says, I can see how that would eventually be possible, then try again because you haven't reached it. The next thing you want to do once you truly tune in to a living, visceral vision of paradise is to accept it. You are now on a path that will connect you back into reality with a capital R. Now let me share with you one more pitfall that you might encounter while you are seeking this incredible vision of paradise within your heart. That pitfall is guilt. Let's face it, religions have spent millennia telling us all how guilty we are and how undeserving we all are of bliss and eternal relief. And even if you're not religious, that religious guilt probably resides inside the DNA that you have inherited from your ancestors. So forget about guilt. Remember, there's no guilt in paradise. Therefore, there's nothing to be concerned about, right? So what I've shared with you here is how to put your consciousness on the fast track to ascension in its highest form. You need to have a vision of where you want to go. I recommend that you choose the highest, most astonishing vision of paradise that your heart can offer you. And then you will just be beginning to get to the truth. Make it your intention to go back to that place, and you will bypass a huge amount of junk that those who want to take the slow route of believing in guilt and excuses will have to endure. And once you learn to truly follow the light of your heart, there will indeed be no going back. So leave me a comment below and let me know if this resonates for you. I would love to know your thoughts and feelings about all of this. And remember to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you are notified every week when I post a new video. And please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it out with anyone else who you feel would benefit. With that, I'm sending you love, light, and loads of positive energy. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.